So down goes Matt Gaetz. Down goes Matt Gaetz. Down goes Matt Gaetz. Now, while this is good news, Donald Trump's cabinet, his administration is still going to be filled with complete and utter clowns. So let's not get too happy, but we can celebrate this for sure because out of all of Trump's picks, Matt Gaetz is probably the worst. I mean, Linda McMahon, a former WWE executive, being the head of education in this country, that's not great. But before I delve all into his other clown card picks, we're gonna focus on Matt Gaetz. So let's go ahead and read from this from Raw Story about him withdrawing himself from the nomination because I think he realized that the heat was just a little bit too high. Former Rep. Matt Gaetz reportedly withdrew his nomination to be President-elect Donald Trump's next Attorney General just minutes after CNN asked him about reports for a second sexual encounter with a 17-year-old girl. Moments after Gaetz announced on X that he was withdrawing his nomination, CNN's Paula Reed noted the network had informed him it was going to report that the House Ethics Committee had heard allegations that he had sex with a 17-year-old girl at least 2 times. Because, I guess Matt Gaetz has a bit of issues with women. But, we'll save that for later because I got a couple of tabs pulled up. Among his other issues, women was one of them. Quote, Gaetz withdrew from Attorney General nomination 45 minutes after we called to say we were going to report that Ethics Committee told there was a second sexual encounter between Gaetz and 17-year-old in 2017. He just abandoned ship before too much of the damning information could come out, I guess. As if we don't already know, he doesn't want us to see the official report. According to CNN, the woman who was 17 at the time of the encounter told the Ethics Committee that she had sex with Gaetz and another adult woman. The woman said she had also testified about both sexual encounters as part of the lawsuit. For his part, Gaetz has denied having sex with the 17-year-old girl. Gaetz recently resigned from Congress before the Ethics Committee could release a report on the lawmaker. So now let's go ahead and go into Donald Trump. He had a comment to say about this. So let's see what my man's Donald Trump was talking about. All right. Trump weighs in after Matt Gaetz bites the dust. So let's see what he has to say. Oh, look at that. 45 right there. President-elect Donald Trump shared his thoughts moments after he dropped out. So let's go ahead and just get straight to it. He says, well, let's just read it right here. Um, I greatly appreciate the recent efforts of Matt Gaetz in seeking approval to be Attorney General. He was doing very well, but at the same time did not want to be a distraction for the administration for which he has much respect. Matt has a wonderful future, and I look forward to watching all of the great things he will do. No, Donald Trump doesn't care about anybody other than himself. Let's not kid ourselves, but that is his official statement. I'm sure he'll end up, losing his mind, whatever mind he has left to lose. He definitely, we're not done hearing him about that. So now let's see what MTG has to say, because this is, she basically wants everybody to just bend the knee. You know what I'm saying? Bend the knee and submit, as she has, which most Republicans will do. But it's just looking like Matt Gaetz is a bit too controversial. But other than that, I think most of the rest of these people are going to get confirmed. All right. MTG melts down in bonkers rant demanding Republicans say yes, sir, to Trump's cabinet picks. All right. Let's just hear it from the horse's mouth.
We support Donald Trump and his agenda. That's it. That's it. They didn't go, we support Republicans. That is not what they said. They said, we support Donald Trump and his agenda. Therefore, the mandate and the order from the American people is whoever he nominates and appoints, you better pass him through the Senate. That is your job. You say, yes, sir, and you get it done. Whatever his agenda set out to do, we find a way to do it, and we do it as quickly as possible.
Okay, first and foremost, Donald Trump does not have a mandate. As the days pile on, his popular vote win shrinks by a lot. It's looking like he's only going to win by like 1 to 1.5 percentage points. That's like 30% in terms of people who voted for him. That's like 30% of eligible voters. That is not a mandate whatsoever. In fact, you can guarantee that the American public is going to absolutely revolt against most of what he does because the American people don't like him. Even though he won this election, he's not popular. He's not going to become more popular. You got to keep in mind as well, Donald Trump has, among other things, he has no real interest in the job. He doesn't really want to do this shit, right? So it's just going to be a complete chaotic disaster. I mean, that's who he is anyway. But again, he's less interested in the job now than he was in 2016. The only reason he really was running at the end of the day was to pardon himself of the 91 felonies that he has, right? So no, the American people did not give him a mandate to do any of this. Now we gonna check out one more clip from a conservative CNN contributor who's basically saying that he's not surprised at Matt Gaetz' withdrawal. So let's see what he has to say before we finish this segment.
Matt Gaetz just put out a statement saying he had excellent meetings with senators today, that he appreciates their thoughtful feedback. And while the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. I will be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I know we're just reading that to you live. Just got it a few seconds ago here. Are you surprised that we got to this point?
I am not surprised. I mean, I've been on air since some of these names have come out. And the biggest questions that I've been asked, whether it's about Pete, whether it's about Tulsi Gabbard, who I know personally, it's really been about Matthew Gaetz. Sure, Michael, can Matthew Gaetz get confirmed? And as you started to see, even some very conservative, sort of ardent Trump supporters in the Senate come out and say, well, wait a minute, I want to see that ethics report. I have a lot of friends on Capitol Hill, on the House side and the Senate side, working for members, working for various committees. And the former congressman just doesn't have a lot of friends, if I'm being honest, Omar, on Capitol Hill. So it was always a bridge, I would argue, that perhaps, or a mountain that would have been too high or too steep for him to climb. And so I think he made the right decision. But Omar, this goes back to that question you asked me moments ago and to the answer that I was giving. You don't want to expend this much political capital this early when you've won an election. There's so many exciting things that you want your president, your principal, to be able to focus on. There's so many exciting things you want the cabinet secretaries to be able to focus on. There are a lot of different regulations that they may want to reverse as instructed by the executive. This is a significant distraction. And so I think the former congressman made the right decision. It now gives the transition team the opportunity to look at other names, to vet those other names well, give them to the president-elect with the greatest amount of information possible so that he can select someone else.
Yeah, again, Matt Gaetz, he had too much controversy, but the fact that Donald Trump picked Matt Gaetz to be the attorney general in the first place, among his other picks, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, well, I guess Tom is kind of right along the line of the neocon. But all these people are neocons. Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, Linda McMahon, a goddamn former WWE executive, reality TV show, bullshit ass administration, Dr. Oz to be the head of Medicare and Medicaid. Like whoever he replaces Matt Gaetz with is not going to be any better. It's just going to be somebody who perhaps has a little bit less, less trouble surrounding them. The only difference will be they won't be as notorious. Hey now. Thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and it really helps to support what we do here.